guys, we got a 10 at 10 for you today. June 29th, Thursday. Another 10 at 10 on a Thursday. There's, we're not keeping these going forever, but we've got some surprise 10 at 10s going on, guys. Real exciting. We got some really cool plants on the table today, but we got some cool things coming up this week too.
Man, I'm telling you what, I'm feeling the energy, Tim. I had me a Thai tea at lunch today, so I'm feeling the energy on that. Got some caffeine flowing through me, but we got this surprise. I mean, I don't know if it's a surprise anymore, but we got a surprise 10 at 10 on Thursday, dropping another amazing selection of plants. Dude, we've been killing it here lately.
So guys,
so many plants.
We're gonna be talking about 10 trees in a minute. They're getting listed at 10 a.m. on Thursday, but there's actually gonna be 20, so check your email out so you figure out the full listing of 20. But guys, we've got, guess what, an open house coming on July 7th and 8th. That's gonna be awesome. 7 a.m. to noon.
That's where it all happens, man. You come out here, we got like 15 greenhouses packed to the brim for you guys to come and shop. Huge selection of 10 gallons, 7 gallons. I mean, 2 gallon. I mean, we've got a great selection of maples right now. Tons of other amazing plants on that as well. You guys got to come out to the open house.
Now, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. We're standing in what's house 25 that used to be the conifer house.
Yeah.
There may be some pictums back there that you can buy at the open house. There may be some lily pad back there that can be available at the open house. So guys, you're gonna wanna be there 7 a.m. to noon. They're gonna be available for the first time at the open house. You don't wanna miss this, guys.
Man, we're bringing the heat. Summer's kicking in, so we're gonna keep that short on those open house hours, 7 to noon, to get you guys out here before it gets too hot in these greenhouses. But we got some heat inside the greenhouse. You gotta come check out all these amazing varieties that we have out here. Man, I'm excited, Tim.
Guys, let's just start going down this list because we got some crazy things. Which crazy side do you want to start, on that side or this side?
Oh, man. Let's start down there, man. What do you got?
Guys, any guesses what this is? This is an upright lace leaf Japanese maple from Alabama selection.
Whew.
This is called Judith Anne.
Man, this is an exciting plant, guys. A variance from that shiguri that's so popular. So many people have that out there in the gardens, a fast grower. But this one gives you that kind of lemony green, bright yellow color on that new growth. I love the idea behind this plant.
Now, with this one, it will need some protection from the hot afternoon sun in most climates. But the yellow new growth on this can get some really bleached out yellows on a cereus-like tree in an upright form. Selection by Donnie Tomlin down in Alabama. And Matt and I were so excited to get this plant. It's the first variant that I've ever seen off a cereus. And Donnie went through tons and tons of cereus seedlings and then found this one and named it Judith Anne after his daughter.
Man, I love the cereus form. I mean, that lace leaf that you get for that, but it's still an upright. It's the perfect combination.
So guys, we're bringing you another lace leaf Japanese maple.
All right, guys, today we've got Acer palmatum Elmwood spreader.
Guys, this is a really cool lace leaf. It gives you some nice orange-red growth on it. It has that nice cascading habit, but the contrast with that bark is just outstanding.
Oh man, that bright green bark really contrasts well against that red leaf. Kind of give you that dark maroon color in the summertime as well. With those new flushes going over top of that, it's just a plant that contrasts within itself. And then you get this amazing form too, right?
Yeah, and this is a plant that we've got at Maplewood Gardens. It always impresses us. And it's one of those things where literally the bark can get a yellow green at times, which almost looks like a very uniquely winter bark on a lace leaf Japanese maple. Gives you some really nice oranges and yellows in the fall. This is a really cool Japanese maple. You don't see it often in the nursery trade, but it's very different.
If you want a red lace leaf and something a little extra flair to it, get the Elmwood spreader. All right, next up on the block, what do we got, Tim?
Guys, we got Little Joe. Sounds like a rapper name, don't it? This was a witch's broom that was found by Tom Kronetsky. And Tom sent it to us and said, guys, I want to name this after my brother, Joe. He passed away and I want to make this in remembrance of him. And we're like, that's awesome. So it's got the name Little Joe. It's a tight, compact witch's broom that really, on the spring flush, when this thing was popping out and some of the summer flushes was just starting, had some really nice pinks over top of this green. It was really impressing me this spring more than any other time that I've ever seen it.
Absolutely. Man, I love those dwarf compact Japanese maples. I'm kind of working in a small space in my yard, so I'm always thinking dwarfs. But this is also great for containers, man. Put this in a nice pot, put it up on the patio, the front deck. Beautiful little tree.
Yeah, really cool. We got to introduce that one here at Mr. Maple. One of the plants that I like a lot, and I've grew a lot of witch's brooms that are green. This one is truly different and shows up very differently than the Canard pygmies, the tiny Tims, and a lot of the other witch's brooms. And that's something that's really important, because there's a lot of witch's brooms that are being found on green Japanese maples. And just because there's a green doesn't necessarily mean it's a witch's broom. How does that stand out from the other ones?
Right.
And this one's definitely one. It stays more tight, more compact than many of the ones I just mentioned. And that pink new growth that this thing has on it is just outstanding.
Next up, we got a nice conifer here. We've got Kotobuki.
I think you were talking to me. Brian was messaging me. He's like, Tim, do we have any Kotobukis available? I'm like, yes, we got some Kotobukis available. So Brian's gonna be taking one of these home.
Definitely.
But these sell out fast on Mr. Maple, so act quick. This is a Pinus thunbergia. It's a Japanese black pine. I like those because they're heat tolerant, they're salt tolerant. They can handle a little bit of shade if you need to. So in our cold frames, they can grow just as well as the Japanese maples.
I love the shape on these too, man. I've seen some pictures of some mature ones of these. It's just outstanding, man. I mean, it gives you such a classic, like, creature looking conifer out in your garden. I was like, man, I got to get one of these. I was looking at some pictures and I'm texting Tim like, dude, we have one of these? Because I got to add one to my collection.
So if you like the Japanese black pines, it's almost like the Makawa form of the Japanese black pines. It has unique structure. It's often used for bonsai because it has shorter needles than most of the other Pinus thunbergia. But all of ours are grafted. They're grafted about 2 inches. But these things are outstanding. And this is going to make an amazing tree out there in the landscape and garden as well. And it's an easy plant to grow. And that's one of the reasons I love them. I mean, literally you can grow them on the coast out where there's salt spray and they're salt tolerant.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just insane for some of the conifers.
I mean,
but it's an easy plant to grow for people all around the country.
Low maintenance, easy to grow. I like that. That's where we're all hunting for. All right, next up, I know there's a lot of those big leaf Japonicum fans out there. Come on now, let's hear it. What do we got, Tim?
Guys, we got Acer Japonicum Migetsu Ataya. This is one of those large leaf Acer Japonicums that has a real rounded foliage to it.
Yeah, man, this thing is awesome. I mean, I just love those huge leaves that Japonicums get. They are such a great canvas for that fall color that we all love with Japonicums. This thing's gonna light up, man. I mean, the colors on this is amazing. Get some reds, some oranges in that. I mean, just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the Japonicums are known for their fall colors. And again, this one has one of the biggest leaves of any of the Acer Japonicums as this tree matures. Give it some morning sun with afternoon shade to really get the biggest leaves on this plant. But this is going to be an outstanding tree out there in the landscape and garden that's going to give you some amazing fall colors.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a nice tropical feel too in that summer and spring. Don't sleep on that summer and spring interest on this, because those leaves, man, just look wild out there in the garden. They look nothing like anything else you'll have out there.
So Brian, what do we got here?
All right, man, so here we got Monticello Gardens. Beautiful lace leaf.
Guys, this is one from the Area 51 collection. It was a chance seedling found by one of our friends, Richard, who had Monticello Nursery down in Monticello, which is near Columbia, South Carolina. And this was a chance seedling that Richard found and said, guys, this thing here holds its color so well, you've got to get this tree in production. And he brought us a tree and gifted it to us.
Yeah.
And said, please produce this. And we started grafting and we're like, man, this thing really does hold its color well. It has a shape almost like an orangeola. It's very cascading in its umbrella habit, but it holds its color extremely, extremely well. Definitely an awesome plant.
I'll tell you what, man, I've got one of these in my garden. I've got it in full sun here in North Carolina, zone 6B. It's doing great out there, and it's got a very nice red color. Really stands out different from the other lace leaves that I have. I love the color on this thing. I know you guys are too.
Now, many of y'all may have heard me say Columbia, South Carolina. Y'all don't know that that's like an 8A, 8B.
It's hot.
But it's extremely, extremely hot. Extremely hot. Like their heat index is super high with high humidity, and this thing still holds its color well down there for them.
Love it, love it. All right, what do we got next, Tim?
Guys, we're bringing you one of 2 trident today. We got Miyasama yatsabusa.
So from what I understand, this is a nice dwarf compact habit on this thing. I love the trident maples. They have such an interesting leaf. And to get this in a dwarf is amazing.
Guys, the Taiwanese trident maple, Acer burgerianum subspecies formosanum, has a little bit more of a rounded foliage to it. And Miyasama, I believe, is a selection made from that, but that's just tighter and more compact. I mean, this thing has that cartoon-like leaf for a trident maple. This is a tree that's extremely popular for bonsai. Again, all of our trident maples and all of our trees on our table today are all grafted. But you could obviously take this, air layer it, make bonsais with it, or make bonsai with the original grafted tree. I mean, this is an amazing dwarf compact tree out there in the landscape. Can handle the sun, get some really nice barking to it, but it's going to be like that Makawa-like form with the trident maple.
Plus, you get some really nice oranges and reds and fall colors on this. I mean, this is something you want to add to your collection for sure.
So next up, I know we've got a cool plant coming up that you love.
Yeah, this is one I talk about a lot. I can't speak any higher than this. This is Acer palmatum, a Magi shiguri. Like I'm always saying, like if you're looking for that beautiful purple reticulated, man, this is very high on my list as far as who wins that competition.
This thing does give you some unreal colors.
Oh,
It can
man,
give you
it's
some
crazy.
lavender colors in there, some pinks to lavenders that are just unreal. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun.
Yeah.
It does want some protection, but it is one of the lower growing. I mean, we're talking 4 to 5 feet, 4 to 5 foot wide in 10 years for a reticulated style. So it is a slower growing reticulated style as well.
Yeah, so if you got a smaller space, you don't want a giant red upright. I mean, this is a definitely one that you want to use here for your landscape. But I will say this too, you can also play around with the sun exposure on this. In more shade, you get some like nice creamy colors on that with that purple underlayer to it. You get it a little bit more out in sun. You don't want to give it too much because you'll get some burn on it, but just pushing that sun a little bit, you'll get some amazing purple and red tones on that thing. It's crazy.
Pair this with a summer gold, you're gonna get some crazy color contrast out there. Plus, I graduated with business management from Western Carolina, so that's that purple and gold going on.
All right, so next up we got another awesome trident maple. What we got, Tim?
Guys, we got Waco nisky. This is a white, ghost-like reticulated trident maple. When this thing first leaves out in the spring, I mean, it's solid white. I mean, Yano's book for maples talks about doing special cultural practices to leave rootstock on to keep this tree alive, because if you do that, then you can keep that whiter period later on throughout the season. What they didn't realize is if you cut that rootstock off, it just greens up during the hot part of the season, and then you get that bright white again in the spring. And so this thing just gives it some amazing white color in the spring, but the fall color on this too can really give you some really nice shades to pink to red.
Man, I love the trident maples. It just gives you kind of a different feel out there in the garden. You know, you want to get a palmatum, you want to get a japonicum, and then you got to throw in a trident maple, get that thing mixed up, get some different textures going on. And with this thing being white variegated, I mean, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so the white is consistent every single year on Waco nisky. It does green up when that summer sun starts coming out and really adding a lot of heat. So if you can give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun, you can keep that white longer throughout the season. Again, what they would do in Japan is they would leave rootstock on that would be green, and it would actually feed the white part of the plant. But when you trim that off, what it does is it makes the plant go greener quicker.
All right, so the next one we got, it's not very often I have to ask Tim, what is this? So Tim, what do we got?
Guys, we got an Acer pseudosubuldanum selection by Ed Hazelkus himself. He's the pioneer when it comes to cold tolerant Japanese maples, and he hybridized Acer pseudosubuldanum with palmatum, and it came up with Acer pseudosubuldanum Hazelkus.
And from what I understand, this thing gets like almost japonicum style leaves, right? I mean,
it does.
For that with a pseudosubuldanum, I mean, that's really cool to be that cold tolerant, giving you a nice tropical feel out there in the garden. Again, those japonicum style leaves. I love those big leaves.
And a lot of people have grew this in zone 4 on palmatum rootstock like ours are grafted on.
Nice.
And it's done fantastic for them. So it's shocking how hardy this plant is. Definitely gives you some good fall colors of some really nice yellows infused with oranges and reds. So an amazing plant to add out there in the landscape, especially in those colder climates.
Definitely shouting out to our friends up north. Got to get one of these today, man. We're going to be dropping this at 10 a.m. These are going to hit the website live, so get ready. I mean, and this isn't the full list. We got 10 others that you need to be signed up for the email to find out about. So definitely something you want to keep your eyes on.
And guys, many of these will sell out fast today.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure that, make sure you can go in and click notify me when this tree has become available again. Make sure you sign up for our weekly email so you get the full listing of what's getting listed, so you can be prepared to check out fast. We do our best each and every week to list as many of these plants as we can. We've got a lot of great fans out there, and we appreciate y'all. And we're doing our best to list in big quantities so that you can get these plants as easily as possible. Sometimes things sell out fast, and we apologize. We try to do our best and try to make it as fair as possible for everybody. But guys, coming up, July 7th and 8th, our open house, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to love it. 7 a.m. to noon. You want to be here at 7 a.m. to walk the greenhouses. You want to come up here to 25. There's crazy stuff in house 25. I'm just throwing that out there right now. We've got house numbers on the greenhouses you can check out. Guys, there's a lot of crazy stuff in here that will be becoming available for the first time at that open house. And guys, we're going to have some 2 gallons and some more 10 gallons that you've never seen before as well. So get excited about this open house coming up July 7th and July 8th. That's going to be 7 a.m. to noon. And that noon is a hard cutoff because we got to get our employees either doing more work. Some of them will be heading home because they got up extra early to come in at 7 a.m. So guys, make sure that you get here because there's going to be some cool stuff that day.
Man, I'm telling you what, you guys get excited about that open house. I'm excited about it. I know that Michael James is making notes about house 25 and what might be in there. I know a lot of you guys come out and support us every time we have that open house. We really appreciate that. We can't do all of this without you guys because you make it possible and you make it fun, man. We and Tim get out here. This is what we get to do because of you guys, so we appreciate that.
So guys, we really appreciate y'all. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you share this video with your gardening friends. Comment and smash that like button. We'd really appreciate it. And guys, take care.
God bless.
And have an awesome day.